106.3 WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Look out, NFC, because Caleb Williams and the Bears are coming.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
It's funny, we got Kobe in the open there talking about a different animal and the same beast. It feels like now, after the NFL draft, after round one at least, the Chicago Bears, they feel like a different animal and a brand new beast, with Caleb Williams taking over as the savior of that franchise. We're coming off of a historic round one of the NFL draft. It was exciting. It didn't have as many trades as we were previously led on to believe, but it did have 14 straight offensive players drafted, a record in the NFL. It did have 23 offensive players drafted in the first round total out of 32 picks, another record in the NFL. And I guess it also had the Atlanta Falcons taking over the role of the Vegas Raiders, taking over the role of the Detroit Lions of past, and having everybody scratching their heads and saying, what the hell are you doing? At number 8, after you invest 4 years, $180 million into old Kirk Cousins coming off of that Achilles injury, you go up and you pick Michael Penix Jr. at number 8, a 24-year-old quarterback. We'll get into all of that. We'll make sure we touch on all of that. And, of course, also, has anybody checked on
Jamal Murray made a shot.
Yeah, Anthony Davis and those Lakers. Yeah, we got to touch on a lot of this stuff, man. Lakers down now 0-3 after last night. A whole lot of stuff to get on here in a day of sports here on a Top 5 Fridays on Theoretically Speaking. So I'm just so excited to be here with you guys. I'm Theo Dorsey, C-Cat on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. And it is a Top 5 Fridays. Later on today, we're giving you our top 5 losers from day one of the NFL draft. But it's unequivocal. It is clear. It is cutthroat. The Chicago Bears, of all the teams that drafted in the first round, they walk away with the greatest prize of them all. They got their quarterback in Caleb Williams, and then also they double down on offense. Thankfully, the Atlanta Falcons did do what they did at number 8 in getting Michael Penix Jr., because that then enabled them to go out and get Washington receiver Rome Odunze at number 9. And now you have a Chicago Bears franchise that's going to be led into this new year with Caleb Williams at quarterback, Heisman winner, perennial All-American at USC, and a guy that comes from that coaching tree out there with his guy Lincoln Riley, who's been just doing nothing but pumping quarterback talent into the NFL. And then you look at his wide receiver room. You got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, and now you have Rome Odunze. You turn around and you got a guy like DeAndre Swift. Your tight end is Cole Kmet. The Chicago Bears, a fan base that has been living in misery or mediocrity for the past decade plus. A team that has not seen a quarterback actually throw for 30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards in a single season. Now you pull back that cover. It must feel like Christmas morning for Chicago Bears fans right now, because not only do you have your guy at quarterback, you see that your GM Ryan Poles is actually creating a foundation around Caleb Williams on his rookie contract. And me, as a fan of fans, of course, I'm a Chiefs guy. I'm glad we got Xavier Worthy at the end of the draft. That's going to be beautiful. And what the hell were the Bills doing? But as a guy that likes to see the joy in other fans' hearts, I can see that in the coming future, in these next few years, there's going to be a lot more to cheer about for the fans out in the Windy City. My biggest takeaway from round one of the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears, not only is there a lot of optimism around that franchise now, but the Bears are going to win the NFC in the next 3 years. I know they're in a tough division. I know that they have a coach in Matt Eberflus who hasn't really proven himself as an X's and O's guy, as a guy that can be a promising leader of a franchise. He also has, he's kind of awkward as a leader at the very least. I need your ruling on this one, C-Cat, because this moment was kind of funny. We go back to the NFL draft, round one, pick one. We know that the Chicago Bears are going to select Caleb Williams, And on that draft call, which is always a fun part of the night, right? The next day we end up getting the draft call, and usually you would think that the internal team would kind of vet through the draft call and make sure that nothing weird or awkward comes out. There was an awkward moment between head coach Matt Eberflus and new franchise savior Caleb Williams. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you. Listen for it, and also what you're not going to be able to see via audio is the prolonging of the passing of the phone from Matt Eberflus to the next front office member for the Chicago Bears. Listen to what Eberflus professes to Caleb Williams, and notice how Caleb Williams kind of just lets it roll off his chin.
But I'm more excited about our football team starting this process and achieving our next goal, and looking forward to our journey together. And I love you, and God bless you. And here's Kevin Warren wants to speak to you too. Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
I'll see you, and I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
He was still holding the phone. So after Matt Eberflus leads off, again, this is day one. I don't even think, actually, this is the phone call before Caleb Williams is even announced as the number one pick in the draft. So he hasn't even donned the Chicago Bears hat yet. And Matt Eberflus, who knows this is a prove-it year for him and the Chicago Bears, who knows that if they don't get it done this year with that roster and that offense, and I know you got a new offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks, who is at least, we saw what he did with Geno. We know what he can do with an offense and put up great numbers and also make a very competitive team out of guys like that with Geno Smith at quarterback. Now he's being gifted the one guy who, since Mahomes has entered the league, that we've actually been able to confidently say this guy is Mahomes-esque. So if you're Matt Eberflus, you're looking at this guy as, yeah, you're the next savior of this franchise. You can keep my job. You can make me a relevant NFL coach in the near future. And he gave him the I love you. And he hung on for like 3, 4, 5 more seconds too long, trying to see if he'd get a little something back from Caleb Williams, and C-Cat, he got nothing.
Right on with that. I was wondering about the prolonged phone pass off. He was waiting for it. I love you too.
He leaned. If you're watching us on YouTube again, and if you aren't watching us on YouTube, you're missing out. At Theo Speaking on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. Show a brother some love. You want a brother to be able to stick around here on ESPN 106.3. Show us, me and C-Cat, some love, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Theo Speaking. If you won't see the video on there, but Matt Eberflus, who when he said the I love you, you can kind of tell he winced a little bit with it, but he was like, it's already out there. Then he hit him with a God bless you. And then before he passed that phone along, he kind of was leaning and waiting, and he wouldn't. You'll hear him actually play it again, especially if we can get just the back end of the audio. You'll hear him kind of prolonging that pass off of the baton because he wanted to hear something reassuring back, because he knows, my job's on the line if we don't win double-digit games this year. Take a listen again.
Speak to you too, okay?
Yep, sounds good.
I'll see you, and I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a whole, and that was after the I love you. That was a whole 5-6 seconds of, God bless you, and also I'll see you tomorrow, and anything for me?
Have you ever heard a couple accidentally say I love you too early, just in the flow of conversation? Because I have
heard
before.
it. You witnessed it third party?
Yeah, man. This was a college dorm, like a 3-week-old relationship, and the girlfriend bought, I don't know, Doritos for the boyfriend, right? And he was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. I love you. And it got silent. A premature, accidental, I love you, that's a Freudian slip or whatever.
Yeah, Freudian
slip is just absolutely devastating for everyone involved.
Well, here's the thing. I wonder if you're Matt Eberflus, you do love Caleb Williams, by the way. You've been watching the tape. You've been seeing how electric of a quarterback he is. You know what he's able to do with an offense. And your mouth is watering at the thought of going into training camp and being able to rebuild your offense and whatnot around this guy. Like, he can save your job and make you a guy that's, competing for Super Bowls potentially. So he does love Caleb Williams. Do you think he actually meant to tell him that on the phone, though?
Where do you go from here? What happens when you win the division for the first time, let alone win a playoff game, let alone win a Super Bowl?
Gotta consummate that love, I guess. I don't know.
I love you on night one.
Again, I'm a big purveyor of showing love, spreading joy, bringing the hug. Caleb Williams ain't afraid to show his emotions or to let his guard down or whatnot. So that's what kind of surprised me. If this was like any other guy, like a Drake May or a Michael Penix or something who's not as effusive with their emotions, then I would have not thought too much about it. But of all guys that if you tell them I love you, you'll expect a little something back, I would have thought Caleb Williams would have did it.
I guess, but
I don't know.
He didn't want to toss around the L word this early, too, because that's a weird precedence to say.
Hey, and also he probably knows, like, yo, Matty E., you got to prove it to me.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I got myself a Heisman Trophy, and I'm the number one pick in the draft, and your job ain't so secure, but mine is.
Yeah,
like, you might love me, but you're going to have to earn this love back.
If one of us has to go, if year one doesn't go great, it's not going to be me.
No. It's not going to be him. And what are the rules with that, too? Have you ever been put in a situation, like I'm the type of guy, I'm very nice and I'm very, if you tell me as a person that I actually do care about, I love you and you're just a friend, yeah, I might throw you I love you back, too. Like, I mean, it's all love. It's good. Like, I'll throw you one back. For Caleb Williams, I see why he didn't do that on the phone. He also probably knew it was getting recorded and he felt awkward. But, like, what are your rules on that? If somebody, if walking out the studio today, I was like, yeah, man, C-Cat, great show. I love you, brother. Like, what are you doing back to that?
See, I think if I reply, I love you too, it's hollow. Because it's like call and repeat. If I love you, I'm going to say it on my own accord. I'm not going to wait for you and then just give you the one back because you said it. No. I'll tell you I love you when I love you, not because you just said it to me.
Well, Matt Eberflus told Caleb Williams he loves him because I think he knows what's coming to the NFC. Not just the NFC North, but to the NFC. And that's the new reign of a new team that for the past 10, 20 years has been kind of sulking in irrelevance, but now they have a guy behind center, someone who can contend with the likes of, or at least if he hits his ceiling, if he hits his peak, he should be able to contend with the likes of those top names in the NFL like the Mahomeses and the Allens and the Jacksons. And also in the NFC, you don't even have to get through those guys to get to the Super Bowl. That's why it makes it so clear to me that with Caleb Williams on a rookie contract on this Bears team where you can tell general manager Ryan Poles is gung-ho about making sure this team can contend immediately. They were a 7-win team last year, right? Like their defense actually saw a bit of an uptick over the past year as well. You can realistically feel, if you're a Bears fan today, that you have a shot at not just making the playoffs this year, but winning a playoff game. You have a shot at winning your own division that has the Packers and the Lions and the Vikings in it, which ain't too, that's a tall mountain to climb. But when you got Keenan Allen and you got Caleb Williams and you have a burgeoning defense and you have a guy like Cole Kmet at tight end and you brought in Rome Odunze, like you have three wide receivers who on many other teams, all three of those guys are wide receiver ones. Keenan Allen last year was wide receiver one for the Chargers. DJ Moore was obviously wide receiver one for the Bears last year. And Rome Odunze, coming into this draft, there was a big three at wide receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr., who went 4 to the Cardinals, Malik Neighbors, who went 6 to the Giants, and Rome Odunze. And if you ask certain people, they had Rome number one. Some people had Neighbors number one. Most people had Harrison number one. But the fact that you have a guy that's in that conversation at what is the second most important position in football, and you got the bell of the ball at quarterback in Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears have to feel like they are going to be contending for Super Bowls very soon. And if you're a Bears fan, you need to become unbearable when it comes to other NFC fan bases, because I know I would from this draft day all the way until fall when they got to prove it on that field. If you're a Bears fan, you need to be letting people hear it, because I'm excited for what you guys have to come. And also, the fact that you got that guy, that confident guy. Can we hear Caleb Williams? When he got drafted, he's been knowing he's going to be the number one pick in the draft now probably for the past 2 or 3 years. But the pure passion this dude has and the energy he has to take to the Windy City, to me, it has to even instill more confidence. Here's Caleb Williams going up to hug Roger Goodell. Just listen to his voice, his screams.
You said to see some Mahomes in Caleb Williams. You see a guy here who can improvise, create. Think about Caleb Williams now in this division.
That's a dude that's ready to rock. He ready to play some football right now.
You contrast it with how Justin Fields had that resting bleep face when he got drafted.
Yeah.
Like he did not seem happy in Chicago from day number one. With how Caleb Williams reacting there, hell yeah is right.
You got a guy that cares You got a guy that can sling the ball around, and if he learns how to take those singles, right, you know he can hit the home runs. If he learns how to take those singles on a consistent basis, you got a guy that's going to be consistently a double-digit winner and a guy that's going to be contending for Super Bowls. The Chicago Bears, are going to win the NFC in the next 3 years while Caleb Williams is on his rookie contract. And if you're a Bears fan, you should be excited. You should be even more excited if you're listening to Theoretically Speaking right now with me and CCAT, because we are soon going to be doing a giveaway with a Duffy's Sports Grill gift card. Now, CCAT, we tried to do this yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. We tried to get our fans to predict where J.J. McCarthy would go and how many quarterbacks would get selected in the first round. The answer to that one ended up being McCarthy to the Vikings and 6 quarterbacks in the first round. Nobody got it, right?
Nope, no one got the combo.
So we still have a Duffy Sports Grill gift card to give out later on today, and we are going to give that out. But first, I want to tell you about what you could be winning. I mean, Duffy Sports Grill is the place to be at any point in the year, but especially at a time like this when you got the NBA playoffs going, you got the Stanley Cup playoffs going. If you're a guy like CCAT, you're tapping into some live golf. If you want to watch some PGA Tour, if you have, I don't know what your viewing interests are right now in sports, but I can guarantee you with 80-plus TVs in every single location, Duffy Sports Grill is going to have at least one of those TVs available for you to tune into it. And while you do that, while you're enjoying your favorite sporting event, why not enjoy some award-winning burgers or award-winning wings? And my favorite thing to do at every single Duffy Sports Grill is to always pull up and get 2-for-1 drinks, because it's not at 5. It's not at 3 p.m. It's not from 6 to 8. There's no happy hour at Duffy Sports Grill. It's 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Make sure you sign up online at duffysmvp.com to become a rewards member today, but to become an MVP like Caleb Williams is soon to be, and like I already am because I'm signed up online. You can start tracking your rewards. DuffysMVP.com. At Duffy's, our game is always on. We're going to be giving out a gift card from Duffy's later today with a trivia question. But before we do that, I want to know from you. My biggest takeaway from the NFL draft, what I left round 1 of the NFL draft feeling, was that the Chicago Bears just put together the foundational pieces, just crafted up the perfect offense to win the NFC in the next 3 years. It's an offensive league. We see how many offensive players were drafted last night in a row, let alone altogether. 23 out of 32 picks going to the offensive side of the ball, and the Chicago Bears have the most promising offense now in the NFC with a guy like Caleb Williams backing it. The Chicago Bears, to me, are the biggest winners of the NFL draft. What did you leave round 1 of the NFL draft learning? What did you take from round 1 of the NFL draft? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. What did you learn from round 1 of the NFL draft? Because I learned that Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears are primed to win the NFC. Now, that's winners from the draft. There also were a bunch of teams that were losers, and players and even fans maybe that were on the wrong side of things for the NFL draft. We're going to give you our top 5, right? Our top 5 on a Top 5 Friday on Theoretically Speaking when we come back. And hint, hint, some of you guys, especially you Falcons fans, not going to be pleased with CCAT or me. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar